Thank you for tuning in. This is a new SEC podcast. We're talking about Oklahoma taking on Illinois State. Illinois State's traveling to Norman, Oklahoma. And we want to talk about what you should expect as a fan in this game versus Illinois State if you're an Oklahoma fan. Hunter, what are you thinking here in this game?
Yeah, it's one initially overlook it. It's one to get to the next game, but don't sleep on the game, not from a chance of winning or losing, but because this is the first chance to see what your new team at Oklahoma will look like. So, you're playing Illinois State. They did make it to the FCS, playoffs last year. They lost in the second round. Quarterback Tommy Rittenhouse, was a honorable mention for the Missouri Valley All-American team. So they're not a bad team, when it comes to FCS play. Now that doesn't translate necessarily over to FBS. They did have 10 FBS transfers come into Illinois State. So, it's going to be a good litmus test, I guess, less of will Mateer and co be good against the SEC opponents, but I guess more so how they're going to look from a play style standpoint.
Yeah, it's a good opportunity to kind of test the playbook a little bit, but not show too much before you play Michigan the following week. Right. As you mentioned, Illinois State 10-4 last season, made the FCS playoffs, lost to UC Davis. They had 3 losses last year, lost to Iowa, their only FCS or FBS D1 game, 40-0, right? So there's still a talent gap. I expect that to be pretty apparent in this game, but it's definitely not a slouch FCS opponent that they're playing here for sure.
No, but there's 2 components of the Illinois State team. And I'll tell you, I had to do some research on this team coming into this. And there's 2 things that I think this team will be good enough at to give Oklahoma a worthy opponent to play against. And that's the running backs and the linebackers. They have a great running back room. They return a guy off of injury in Mason King, Winkers Wright, 2 guys that are around 1,000-yard rushers, one in 2023, one in 2024. That'll be good for Oklahoma to work on, tackling, getting, actually being able to see an opponent put the ball on the ground and maybe get a couple yards to get some guys involved. The linebackers are also good at Illinois State. Will we see Mateer run a little bit in this game? I don't know if they're going to keep that more secretive, use it sparingly to kind of save that for Michigan. But if so, it'll be good to see how they play against maybe some linebackers who can contain a little bit better. Not that they're up to Michigan standard or the standard of the teams they're going to play, but that's kind of the overview on Illinois State and what they're bringing to the table.
Yeah, I mean, and you talked about it with John Mateer. I mean, I'm an Oklahoma fan. If I was an Oklahoma fan, I would be excited to see Mateer run, right? I think, last season he had 15 rushing touchdowns. That was the 8th most for any quarterback in the nation, right? That's in the same camp as Jalen Milroe and Blake Horvath from Navy and a lot of these guys, these schools that are literally option schools. And Jalen Milroe was damn near a running back last year, right? So Mateer was running the football, 15 touchdowns. Again, I would want to see him get 1 to 2 touchdowns in this game on the ground, ideally. This team last year, from a passing attack, they had 16 passing touchdowns. That was dead last in the SEC. John Mateer alone had 29 touchdowns. So yeah. I would like to see more in the air coming from Mateer with these receivers they have. And this is a great game to kind of test the playbook out a little bit, but not show too much from him.
Yeah, I mean, in talking about the passing attack, last season between Jackson Arnold and Hawkins Jr., they only had 8 passes completed over 20 air yards. Mateer was 8th in returning quarterbacks. He had 25 with 20-plus air yards on it. So this guy can air it out a little bit more. We know the limitations that Oklahoma was facing last year with the O-line, with the receivers. But you got a guy now who can air it out. Maybe you'll see a little bit of that. I don't think he'll play for too long, get a score, 2 scores, whatever. You got Hawkins Jr. who's going to play with the injury bug that plagued this team last year. Good to get these guys more reps. You got Whit Neubauer. He came in from Mercer. If you remember him playing against Alabama last year, he was pretty good in that game. He's 6'6" quarterback, not a bad guy to have at the 3 spot. He's from Raleigh, here where I'm at, so local to me. But this is just more a good look to get these guys familiar because you do have a lot of transfers at Oklahoma across really a lot of the offense: quarterback, running back, tackle, tight ends.
Definitely. I mean, and you'd love to kind of see Jaden Ott in this game. I think there's still reports that he's wants to be pretty conservative with the shoulder injury. Came out a couple weeks ago, it was a minor injury. If it was me personally, if he's not 90% or better, I'm probably not playing him. So I would like to see or expect to see Javante Barnes or Xavier Robinson in this game. Those two guys last year combined for 9 touchdowns. So rushing was something that Oklahoma did well. You have a pretty stacked running back room, I'd say. And then now you have Mateer who seemingly should come in and open up the passing game. This is a great tune-up game to kind of show that on the offensive side. Defensively, if I'm a Oklahoma fan and watching this game, what would you say they should expect?
I think you should expect maybe a slightly dampened or modified look at the offense. I think that defensively, you'll look at guys who are going to get pressure on a quarterback at Illinois State. I don't think it's going to look too much different from the way Oklahoma defense was last year. Pretty solid. You're getting a lot of transfers acclimated. You're getting ready for week 2. 35.5 point favorites into this game, over under set at 60.5. I like Oklahoma in this one, 51-6. I don't think that they give up any scores aside from 2 field goals in this one. Under hits, I think they're going to be a little bit conservative with such a big game week 2.
Yeah, I mean, with the big of a spread that is, is something that I would probably lean more towards the under when it comes to the over under there. But I mean, defensively, I would expect to see no more than 50 rushing yards from Illinois State, right? I mean, this Oklahoma defense last year was a top 5 rushing yards per game defense in the SEC. I mean, in the likes of South Carolina, Texas. There's no reason why, despite how great these Illinois State running backs were last season, that this D line at Oklahoma should give up more than 50 rushing yards. And so, like I said, in this game, I'm going to say 42-7 Oklahoma, but we'll see what happens.
Ooh, we'll see where that sits at the time game start. That'd be Oklahoma, right on that cover. Some people will be sweating that last point there, but we'll see what happens. Week 1, I'm not too worried about it. Week 2 will be where we really got to lean into this team and see what they have. Let us know what you guys think. Is there anything that, if you're an Illinois State fan or know much about FCS football, if there's anything we missed on that team? If you're an Oklahoma fan, let us know what you think or are looking forward to seeing in this game. As always, like, follow, subscribe for more SEC content, Oklahoma-related content, game previews, recaps, and more. And this is the new SEC podcast. I'm Hunter Ziesman here with Randall Adet Jr., and we'll catch you in the next one.